everyone, I am back after a very long time of being away. Even though it's been a while, I have never forgotten about this channel and have always wanted to come back. I am on my porch. It's summertime. I have some extra time right now, so my goal is to record as much content as I can. I loved doing the previous videos, but life happens and I stepped away for a while, but never forgot about all of the different videos and content that I wanted to make for dogs with epilepsy. So if you have not been here before, I just wanted to do a quick introduction to kind of who am I and what are these videos about. I am outside right now, so I am on my porch. It's summer, even though it's kind of chilly out today. We've been getting a lot of rain, but it's morning. Like my coffee, and I just wanted to make like very chill videos. Having a dog with epilepsy can be really stressful, and there are ups and downs, and it can be overwhelming when you're just starting out. So my name is Mandy, and I have a dog, Ruby, who will be turning 9 years old in just a couple weeks. And I've been on the Canine Epilepsy adventure with her now for about 7 years. So even though I'm not an expert in it, I'm an expert in Ruby and her seizures and what I do to try to help her. And so the more I thought about this channel, I don't ever want it to be a place where I'm telling people what they should do, because there is no right or wrong. There is the medical side of owning a dog with epilepsy, and that's where you're going to get your information from your veterinarian, or if you work with a canine neurologist. But then there's the everyday living side of it, where if you don't have somebody else in your life who has a dog with epilepsy, you feel like you're on your own, and that's exactly how I felt. I don't have anyone else in my life that has experienced this, so it was really me just figuring it out as I went, and experiencing the reactions from some other people, which for the most part was positive, but not always. So it can definitely be a challenge, but it's doable. And your dog can have a very good normal life. You can have a very fun normal life with your dog with epilepsy. Just to introduce her, this is Ruby. So there's Ruru. She's out here as I do the video too. She's my Velcro dog. So wherever I am, she is. So I am hoping to cover just a number of different topics of things that I've experienced that I hope are going to be helpful. I think the goal for this channel is all I can do is give the ideas, give you some things to think about, some things I've tried that have worked, some things that I've tried that have not worked, but really keep it in mind that I'm not the expert in your dog. You are the expert in your dog. You're gonna have those gut feelings as far as what will work, what will not work. And I definitely have had that experience along the way where I feel like I've been in some other online groups where people start to talk to other people as if they are the experts, and if someone's not doing what they said that they should do for their dog with epilepsy, that they're somehow not doing what their dog needs. I don't agree with that. I believe that person is an expert, but they're an expert in their dog. Just like I'm an expert in Ruby, you're an expert with your dog. You know what's gonna work, or what you're willing to try to see if it might work for them. And really, it's an ebb and flow. So with Ruby, I've realized that things change and I only have so much control. But there are a lot of things with her, with the seizures, that I do not have control over. And so my role in her life has really become, it's my job to keep her safe. It's my job to get her the medical that she needs to stay healthy. It's my job to reach out to the medical side with her veterinarian. She has seen a veterinary neurologist too. So that's one of the things that I can definitely share, that whole experience of going through that process. So knowing when to reach out for the medical help, knowing how to, I guess, filter through. There's a lot of stuff online. Be able to filter through that information. But ultimately, really knowing that this is an ongoing learning experience. I will never be done learning what canine epilepsy is, what it's like to live with a dog who has seizures. I adjust as she is changing through her seizure patterns. And so there's many topics for us that I'm hoping to talk through, to cover. There's the whole food topic, which is definitely a big one and triggering. And people talk like you have to do this particular diet for dogs with epilepsy. And I have tried them all. And so I definitely have some thoughts on food where I'm no surprise. I don't believe there's a right or a wrong. I believe there's what you discover is right for your own dog. And so I've tried many things with Ruby, and once we get to a place that I feel like things are going well and that she is liking the food, and we stick with that then until we need to change again. We've had to change a couple times, but as far as medication management, how to stay consistent, making sure that if your dog is on a medication that is a time release, that they have to have it at certain times, which Ruby does. She's on one of her meds is a 12-hour, where every 12 hours she needs to have it again. So she's on 3 different meds. She's on phenobarbital, Keppra, and zonisamide. So the phenobarbital is the extend release, where she does need to, oh wait, is that Keppra extend release? Can't remember. Phenobarbital, she does need to have that every 12 hours. And so I can definitely share how do I manage that in my life. My life has become very different now that I have Ruby and I'm dealing with her seizures and her medication management. But I would say it's for really ultimately all of the changes that I've had to make aren't negative. I would say they are really, when I look at things big picture, for the better. For example, I was never a morning person before. And with Ruby and setting up that 12-hour window of time where I knew I could be home, I was going to be home at 6 a.m. and I knew I was going to be home at 6 p.m. I now would consider myself a morning person. I love the morning, and before I never experienced that. Before I had to make sure that I was up and giving her meds at 6 a.m. to make it work for our schedule. So there's things like that where I think it's just kind of looking at some things that can be negative, or almost perceived as if it's a negative, but potentially can you reframe it to it's more of a positive now in your life? Have you made some good changes because of it? So the medication management, making sure meds are on time, making sure you're refilling those prescriptions when you need to, so there's no gaps in giving them their medication. What are some of those reminders that I use? What are some of those things, strategies that I use, or resources that I use if it's actually going to be someone else besides me? So if I'm going to be out of town for a day, how do I help someone else who's coming in to take care of Ruby, to make sure that they are continuing the medications on time and giving her what she needs? What else? Like I said, I have seen she has gone to a veterinary neurologist, so I can talk about that whole experience. There's the whole going through it if you're brand new or just starting out with your dog and your dog has just been diagnosed with epilepsy, just understanding the whole seizure process. Even though your dog's seizure might look different than my dog's seizure, how do you keep them safe during it? What are some strategies you can do during, before, during, after? I have really, I feel like I've become very calm whenever Ruby is having a seizure. She has cluster seizures, so if there's one, there's going to be more. We've gone through some very hard spans of time where that meant there were a lot during those clusters. Luckily, we're in what I would consider a calmer period, where when she does have cluster seizures, they aren't as intense. They aren't as many as there used to be. So we're kind of in this good place. But how do you keep them safe? How do you tell other people what they should do during the time if a seizure is occurring? How can you help prepare someone if they are going to be watching your dog for a weekend or while you're away, if a seizure should occur? Relationships. How do dogs with seizures affect your personal relationships? I have a lot of experience with that. I am married now, and so I do have the perspective of my husband and what it was like when he was first dating me. He said it was almost, I don't have children, but he basically explains it like it's almost as if I was dating a woman with a child, because there are just more restrictions around a dog that has seizures and has medication schedules, and it's harder to leave them. And I'm very particular in who I leave my dog with. I will leave her with family to take care of her, but that's pretty much it, because I know they've, number one, have experienced the seizures, so they know what it's like, and I know, number two, they will follow what I say they need to follow, and I know, number three, they love Ruby as much as I love Ruby. So I'm very lucky in that capacity that I have people that I trust. But on the other side of that, I really don't leave her that much. And so how has that been like for relationships? I've had some past relationships where there wasn't as much understanding around it, and I have a theory about that. That kind of is your dog helping you identify who's not gonna be the right person for you. The person who accepts your dog with epilepsy and everything that comes with that is definitely going to be the person that you want in your life. If they can accept that's a genuine good-hearted person. So Yeah, so there's so many topics. I'm still learning. And there's a little bunny over there. I'm still learning every day. And so this is not something that I have it all figured out. I continue to learn with her. I continue to problem solve. I want to dive deeper into the research side of things. So one thing that helped me was to get off of I originally was in some of the Facebook groups for Canine Epilepsy, and that's great. That's also another place if you feel like, you know, you need a group of people who are going through the same thing that you are. People give great suggestions. It's also a place to get support if you're just really struggling in that moment and having a hard time. But you have to just be careful of the people who are speaking to other people as if they are the experts when they're not. So I ended up not being a part of those groups anymore, and I really have more of an interest in diving into the research-based material online. So I'm hoping to, as I learn more about that, I can bring information to you, because all of this takes time, and I understand not everybody has time to dive into it. So I'm hoping that I can do that for you and then bring you a nice summary of what I've learned. That helps keep me motivated to keep learning and reading research articles when I know that I can bring it to other people and give it to you in a nice, quick, here's what you need to know, but if you want to read the overall article, here's where you can find it. So yeah, providing resources that if you want to dive deeper, that you can. Resources for how I track Ruby's seizures and keep all of her information in the same place, so then I can share that with her veterinarian or her neurologist when it's time for an appointment. There's just so much, and I have a feeling I will always be learning and trying to figure things out for the rest of her life, basically. So, but I'm glad that we can do this together. So yeah, I'm really hoping this is just a space that you can come to learn, to feel like you're not alone, to get some maybe ideas that you hadn't thought of before, so we can help each other and continue to learn together with each other. I'm hopeful that we can create a community where it's just positive and we can help each other. So I'm definitely interested in thoughts that people have as far as different topics or different things that you would like to learn about. Because there's so much. Oh, like, luckily, I do not have a problem with this. My dog is very food motivated. So anytime I need to give her the meds, I just can put it in food and she will eat it. But, you know, what are some of those, and I know not all dogs are like that, so what are some of those different things that you can try if your dog is not willing to take the medication? So yeah, I'm excited to be back. There's a lot of work to do. I'm excited to do it. I'm going to have, at least through the summer, have this be my porch series. It's summertime. I have some time off from work, so I really want to be outside as much as possible. And I have the woods behind me, so for me I'm looking at a beautiful view as I get to talk to you all. Ruby's outside here with me, listening as we talk through all the fun topics that go into owning a dog with epilepsy, having a dog as your part of your family who has seizures, and just sharing that experience together and letting you know you're not alone in it. That was one of my biggest motivators of starting this process when I did a couple years ago. Was I remember how it felt when the vet told me that she had epilepsy and what that meant as far as lifetime medication management, how it can change, and it has changed for Ruby. We do ebb and flows with what those seizures have looked like, and I remember how scared I was, sad I was, just overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed I was. And I was starting from scratch, trying to figure everything out. So my hope is, if there's someone out there that is just got that diagnosis for their dog, just have found out that their dog has epilepsy and is experiencing seizures, I really want a place where someone who's just learning can come and know, number one, you're not alone. There are many of us, but you just probably don't know someone personally. You know, we're gonna connect via YouTube, and just knowing that you're not alone, this is manageable. There are gonna be hard times, but the more information you have, the more you're gonna feel like you got this and you can handle this. And there's always things that you can try. There's always resources that you can utilize. And my goal is to provide it to you in a very simple, easy way, so you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. So hopefully I have figured out a lot of the things along the way that you can just go ahead and do. You don't have to do the research side of it or the digging around on the internet. My goal is to compile it into some of those different topic areas that, if I would have had this when I was starting out, I would have been so appreciative. So I'm hoping my experience with Ruby and her seizures is going to be beneficial. Even if it's just one other person that's watching this, I don't care. If there's one other person that I can help and help support and make them feel like they're not alone in this and that they got this, then that makes me very, very happy. So I'm glad to be back. This is gonna be my studio for the rest of the summer, is sitting on the porch. You can grab a cup of coffee with me, we can chat about things, and we can definitely continue to learn all about canine epilepsy and dog seizures. And I'm hoping you will enjoy learning with me as I continue to learn with Ruby. So thanks for stopping by again, and we'll see you soon.